Make the motion
I'll read for it, you just want to say, you want me to read
to
it?
continue the performance bond needs to be added to it. So I just wanted to make sure, that's what I was just asking Tim.
Let Frank make the motion if he wants. I mean, it's,
Can you read this writing?
I've read it a couple of times.
was it different every time?
Oh, we were already supposed to have started.
Supervisor looked like a dinner salad.
Okay, good evening. Today is Wednesday, June 26th. The time is 6:30 p.m., and I am calling this meeting of the Macomb Township Board of Trustees to order. We will now say the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Posey, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. Trustee Cusimano?
Here.
Trustee Lucido is absent. Trustee Oliver?
Here.
Trustee Nevers?
Present.
Treasurer Drollet?
Here.
Clerk Posey here. Supervisor Viviano?
Here. That'll take us to the second item, approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
Yes, I have proposed cancel of the presentation, which is item number 9, and then a proposed add-on, which is number 16, under the Supervisor's Office, which is assigned township waste hauling agreement from GFL to Priority Waste. And also on item number 4, I need to correct the approval of the previous meeting minutes from June 6th to read June 12th.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda as corrected?
Motion to approve is corrected.
Trustee Kuzma seconds the motion.
Is there a discussion?
GFL. Assignment.
Hearing none. Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Kuzmano to approve the, sorry, I jumped to the wrong one. To approve the agenda as corrected. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. This will take us to approval of the bills. Is there a motion?
Trustee Kuzma makes the motion to approve the bills.
Support.
Is there any discussion on the bill run? Hearing none, motion by Trustee Kuzmano, supported by Trustee Nevers to approve the bill run. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. This will take us to approval of the previous meeting's minutes from June 12th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve?
Trustee Kuzma makes the motion.
Support.
Any discussion? Motion by Trustee Kuzmano, supported by Treasurer Gillette to approve the previous meeting's minutes from June 12th. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the consent agenda in its entirety.
Support.
Any discussion on any of the consent items? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Nevers to approve the consent agenda in its entirety. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. This will take us, well, the presentation was canceled, and that brings us to new business. We have a request to adopt the Water System Advisory Council Ordinance Update. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Trustee Kuzma supports.
Mr. Johnson?
All right, good evening, Board. So back on March 27th, we approved it or passed this ordinance. This update to it just makes the DPW director an automatic position that doesn't need appointment. That was the intention initially. So we're just adjusting the language to reflect that. There will still be further positions that need to be appointed for this council. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. Motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Trustee Kuzmano, to adopt the Water System Advisory Council Ordinance Update. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. This will take us to item 11. So this is the first, number of Water System Advisory Council appointments. Is there a motion to approve the first appointment?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Mr. Johnson?
All right. If I may I address all four comments at the same time? To
Yes.
address, wonderful. So starting with number 11, I'm going to be recommending Ed Koenig, the Water and Sewer Assistant Superintendent, to fill a position on this council. His term will expire December 31st, 2026. Ed has over 28 years of experience within the industry and administers the township's lead and copper sampling program. I'm also recommending Kevin Mish, a Water and Sewer Supervisor, to fill one of the positions. That his term will expire December 31st, 2026. Kevin has over 21 years of experience in Macomb Township dealing with the public and the township infrastructure at large. I'm also recommending Mike Rickert, Water and Sewer Supervisor, to fill a position that expires December 31st, 2027. Mike has over 10 years of experience with Macomb Township dealing with the public and the township infrastructure at large as well. And then with this ordinance, it states that one member must be a resident who is a customer of the public water system and does not formally represent the interest of any incorporated organization. With that, I'm recommending David DeCoster to fill this position that with an expiration of December 31st, 2027. David is a Macomb Township resident that has over 21 years of experience with the city of Oak Park, where he has administered the lead and copper sampling program, along with replacing lead service lines within the community. And then moving forward, all of these terms will be 3-year terms after these expire. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. So we're going to take up Ed Koenig's appointment first. Any questions on Mr. Koenig? Hearing no questions, so we have a motion by Clerk Posey, supported by, was it Charlie? Trustee Oliver?
Yep.
To approve Ed Koenig to the Water System Advisory Council for a term that expires December 31st, 2026. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next, can I have a motion to appoint Kevin Mish to the Water System Advisory Council for a term that expires December 31st, 2026?
So moved.
Support.
Who?
Give to Nancy.
Any questions on Mr. Mish? Hearing none. Motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Trustee Nevers, to appoint Kevin Mish to the Water System Advisory Council for a term that expires December 31st, 2026. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next is there a motion to appoint Mike Rickert to the Water System Advisory Council to a term that expires December 31st, 2027?
So move.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Clerk Posey, to appoint Mike Rickert to the Water System Advisory Council to a term that expires December 31st, 2027. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And lastly, is there a motion to appoint David DeCoster to the Water System Advisory Council for a term that expires December 31st, 2027?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Motion by Clerk Posey, supported by Trustee Kuzmano, to appoint David DeCoster to the Water System Advisory Council for a term that expires December 31st, 2027. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next item is a request to hire a recreation programmer, Mr. Angelo Accord. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Tabaka.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and board members. I'm looking to extend an offer of employment to Angelo Accord for the Recreation Program 2 position within our Parks and Rec Department. We received 15 applications. Myself, Sal DeCaro, and Ken Delpra interviewed several candidates, and we believe Angelo, with his sports program experience, would be a great asset to the Parks and Rec team. Angelo is currently a part-time employee within our Parks and Rec Department. This is a budgeted position. If approved, the start date would be July 8th. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Tabaka. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Clerk Posey, to hire Angelo Accord as Recreation Programmer 2. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. This will take us to our add-on. This is item 16. This is regarding the assignment of the GFL waste hauler contract to Priority Waste. Mr. Kuzmano, I believe you had a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve the supervisor to sign the June 4th, 2024 Priority Waste assignment without waiving any claims and actions against GFL by Macomb Township, and for the parties to continue the performance bond, which was posted by GFL.
Support.
So I guess just for some background for the public and for the residents, I think most people are aware, it's been in the papers, Priority Waste has purchased all of the residential routes throughout southeast Michigan of GFL. In order for them to execute the contract that we have with GFL, we must first assign it to them. And to do so, the board must approve that assignment. I had a conversation with Mr. Stamper this morning. We had a nice, thorough conversation along with a number of members of my staff. Deputy Supervisor Claycomb represented the Waste Hauler Committee that first made the recommendations during the open bidding process that was last fall. Treasurer Gillette was there. We were assured that every item of the contract that we have with GFL will be honored. And we were satisfied with Mr. Stamper's discussion and forthrightness during that conversation. Jody, did you have anything to add?
Just two minor things that will be a little different. It's just operational. Instead of a field supervisor, which we had in our previous contract, they have, what do they call it? They call it something different. I gave you guys a copy of all of this too as well. They've got a logistics driver coordinator. So that will be our direct contact. And then also we won't have a dedicated phone line, but they will have a phone number that they call. We're assured that everything is a lot faster and easier. It goes right into the, like their GIS system, and everything is taken care of like that. So.
Okay. And I see we have a representative from GFL, from Priority here. Did you want to make any statements?
Good evening, Dan Vinay, Vice President of Municipal Sales for Priority. Thank you all for allowing me to speak. As she just described, our LDC program is an enhancement to infield supervision. Reason why it's an enhancement is it allows access and sight into all of the trucks that are operating inside of the township. It doesn't require the what would be an infield supervisor to have to find the truck or follow a truck. They can follow and watch all of them. So in real time, we know percentage of the township that's serviced. We can see if there's any issues, proactively reach out to drivers, let's say if they're parked for an extended period of time, to work with them if there's a truck issue, a personnel issue, or anything that may be in between those two. Take faster action if they require a repair or replacement of a truck, as well as it's a good program for residents should they call in and say, Priority, you missed my trash today. We can look into this routing software, because that LDC is also the customer service function, and talk to the resident to say, ma'am or sir, actually we haven't quite gotten there yet, or yes, in fact we did, or actually your wasted material was not out on time. Please get it out in the future before 7 a.m. We'll work with you to get it collected now. So it takes it from being a he said, she said assumption conversation into something factually based with real-time data, and gives us that visibility that will help ease some of the transitional cues that we know will occur, because we'll be able to watch everything as it occurs in the township.
Thank you. So with that, does any member of the board have any questions for either Jody or is it Vaney?
Vinay.
Vinay, sorry. Mr. Vinay. Frank?
Mr. Chairman, I got a couple questions
Sure.
to the representative Priority. Do you expect there to be any hiccups or delays in the normal running of the waste collection as you scale up for the new customers that you are taking on?
We do not. The communication between Priority and GFL has been great. I have to give a lot of kudos to their team. They've provided us with routing information for the 5 different days that they're in the township. We know where their trucks are starting. We know roughly where they're finishing. So that detail is not usually given in what would be like a normal bid contract award to a new hauler. You know, we would have been redefining the routes and dialing them in. Having this information on the forefront allows us to plan for it on the transition. Their assets and their employees that are coming with it that are operating inside of the township will be operating with us in the township. So the experience is also there, so they know the ins and outs of your streets, the tricky areas, the cul-de-sacs that may get missed, or the main street houses that commonly get passed by. So that experience with the routing software that we have, we expect this to be very seamless, should be very clean, and we're very excited, prepared to start on July 1st.
And is it your position that you'll be able to perform all the terms and conditions of the contract with GFL dated September 5th, 2023?
Correct, yes.
All right. That's all I have.
Okay.
One quick question.
Sure, Charlie.
So if you were picking up trash in one subdivision on a Wednesday, is that going to be changed, and then people are going to have different days, or you're going to seam that together?
The days are not changing, so your Monday through Friday schedule remains the Monday through Friday schedule. We will be starting in the similar spots at the beginning to keep this as, again, smooth as possible. But as we get into the service, our routing software through our GPS tracking and experience will massage that. So we may start at a different spot because we like to be not around schools at 8 to 10 in the morning, as well as not around 2 to 4 in the afternoon, because that's when heavy traffic buildup happens. So we'll massage that throughout the term. So our common saying is you have a collection day, not a collection time. So telling the residents to understand that get your material out on time is very important, because those factors will come into play as we dial in this service. There's also things that happen throughout the day: traffic, construction, backups at the processing disposal site or the composting sites, right? That when we come back, we may have to loop back around to a different spot because of the buildup of traffic or something going on. So the days are staying the same. It's just the routing that's going to get massaged, like I mentioned.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
So for the sake of the residents, could you just explain what it's going to look like from their side? How long, your trucks look different, they're painted yellow. So how long until they, I guess, see a change in the service provider?
Realistically, from the residents' perspective, they should not see much of a change because of the way that, think of it this way. The Detroit Tigers roster, if they were to put, the entire roster were to put on the Chicago White Sox uniform, it's the same team, just in a different uniform. That's kind of the mentality that this is taking on. The employees that were with GFL are coming to Priority, so they know what your township design is like, and they know what your service level is like. So from their perspective, they should not see much of a difference. The only real difference that they'll need is to the phone numbers that may be familiar to them to call, they'll need to call us. For a short period of time, the phone numbers that are active for the township residents, because I believe you have a specific phone number for the township, that'll get routed to our office and handled with our representatives that live answer phone calls and then go into the LDC for them to answer and talk to the resident. That is really the only change that they should learn with. But I know as we advertise the new phone numbers that we have, the 586-228-1200 or the 855-927-8365 numbers, those will eventually be the primary phone numbers for residents to call. So the communication to residents will come out with new phone numbers with their invoices for the October 1 invoice date. So they'll have some information with that on who to call, how to get in touch with us, and those lingering GFL numbers at some point will go away because we want them to call us direct.
Okay. And I think Todd told me over the next 90, 120 days, the trucks will get rotated. They'll start to be yellow instead of green over that period of time. Older vehicles that priority no longer needs will be phased out. Residents, as Charlie already covered, all your pickup days are the same. All the rates that were negotiated with GFL are the same. Payment schedules are effectively the same. So from the residents' perspective, they should see no drop-off in service or significant changes.
Correct.
Okay.
Because Macomb Township is individually billed, that's something that residents, so proprietary or secure information like their credit cards or banking information that may have set them up on auto pay was not coming over in the transfer of information. So with that October 1 bill, everybody will get an invoice. They will have to, at that point, they can set up on our system the automatic payments programs if they elect to choose into that. That would be really at October, the biggest change a resident would see is just setting up their own profile on our website and making that first payment and scheduling auto pay if they should select that. If they have paid annually already, that information should flow over to us so we'll know who has paid already for the year ahead of time.
Actions against GFL and to continue the performance bond as negotiated with GFL. Correct?
That's correct.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Take that sheet.
And with that, that will bring us to public comment again. This is for non-agenda items. Anyone wishing to make public comment on any particular item or may do so now. Microphone on the right-hand side of the room. Please use the microphone on the right-hand side of the room and state your name and address for the record if you want to make comment.
Hi, my name is Jean Zott, and I'm actually from Shelby Township. I am running for the Michigan House of Representatives for District 59. That District 59 covers a small portion of northern Macomb Township, so I wanted to come here tonight to introduce myself. I'm a retired CPA, controller, and a small business owner. I worked for Michigan's largest retail produce company, Joe Randazzo's Fruit and Vegetable, in Detroit, Michigan, for over 30 years. My time at Randazzo's, I was responsible for all financial reporting. I was also responsible for all federal, state, and local compliance and regulations. I also did all their tax returns. They did not have a CPA firm. So their individual returns, the partnerships that were related to their real estate holdings, their investment properties, and their corporate work. So I am uniquely qualified to go to Lansing to bring this expertise to fill a gap in the House and the Senate that is not there right now. Currently, there are no CPAs in the House or the Senate. I found that out this summer when I went and talked to the Michigan Association of CPAs. They were extremely excited that I was running, and I'm going to be featured in their summer magazine Connections as one of the CPAs that is going to be on the ballot. There's another person that is running, and hopefully he will be successful too. I was very impressed at the state of Macomb, the fact that you have lowered taxes 4 years in a row. I actually got, when I left that morning, I talked to some Shelby Township trustees and said, you know, you always brag about how your budget's balanced, but Macomb Township is going above and beyond. So I want to congratulate you on that. That's amazing. That's unheard of in government, is cutting taxes. Most of the time they're talking about raising taxes. Michigan has 60 different federal or state and local taxes, And they're hard at work right now in this budget, and they're talking about raising taxes again. So I just wanted to introduce myself to you, the board, and the residents, if they're watching online, to check out my website, and I hope to be your representative. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we're going to move on. And before we get to board comments, board would indulge me for a minute. You may have heard about the tragic loss of a Warren firefighter a few days ago, but what not everybody realizes that firefighter was a Macomb Township firefighter for many years before he joined Warren's department. And I'm going to ask for a moment of silence for firefighter Chris Kosmowski, who was known and friends with many of our own firefighters here in Macomb Township. Thank you. So we will move on to board comments. Trustee Nevers.
Yes, I would just like to wish everybody a happy 4th of July, and I'd like to congratulate the new recreation programmer, Mr. McCord, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Trustee Oliver.
Thanks, Mr. Supervisor. Yeah, also, happy 4th of July to everyone. We need to take it serious. It's a very important day. The other thing, congrats to Angela Accord for being a programmer. It's great. Welcome aboard. To the Water and System Advisory Council. Are you aware that there is 80 years of experience there? That is really good, and it's good for us, so I just want to bring that to your attention. If you didn't already know, I think you got good choices. And that's about it.
Thank you, Trustee Oliver. Trustee Kuzmano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd also like to congratulate Ms. McCord and also welcome the appointees to the Water System Advisory Council. It's a very important asset that we have in the township, and we look forward to it continuing in perpetuity as we grow and become less of a rural community. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Thank you, Trustee Kuzmano. Treasurer Gillette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I echo my colleagues on the Independence Day celebrations. Our founders, in many respects, rebelled against the Tax Acts and a number of other unfair acts imposed on them by a distant king. When we established our independence, of course, we had to collect our own taxes, and as such, the Treasury Department will be sending out the summer tax bills starting on the first week of July. They're due without penalty by September 16th. That's the tax bill. The summer tax bill is primarily school taxes.
Election on August 6th. Tomorrow is a big day for those of you that vote by mail and are on our permanent ballot list. We have just over 14,000 ballots being delivered to the post office. If you don't receive your ballot within a week, contact our office and we'll track it for you and find a solution to that. Otherwise, you can vote early and in person on Election Day. And if you have any other questions, you can visit the website at mtvoter.org or contact the office and we can assist you. That's all I have.
Thank you. I guess I'm going to echo everyone's congratulations. Angelo, congratulations. New position with Parks and Rec. All the Water Advisory Council members, thank you for volunteering for those positions. Other than Macomb Township offices will be closed on July 4th, and we will reopen for business on Friday, July 5th. That is all I have. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Clerk Posey, to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned.